Hey, what's up? Welcome to One Little Coder. In this video, we're going to learn about OpenAI ChatGPT API in Python. There are two different methods to access the API at this point, and I'm going to show you both the methods. One using OpenAI library, second one using the OpenAI endpoint. So we're going to cover end to end, starting from how to create your OpenAI token to actually building a Python code on Google Colab where you can chat and get a response. So this entire thing is probably going to take less than 20 minutes. So I would strongly suggest you to stick around till the end. Also, few people had asked me, how do you change the parameters, update the parameters of OpenAI ChatGPT API. So I'm going to also cover that in this video, where how you can update certain parameters like temperature and other apps. Let's get started with the video. First thing that you have to do is you have to register for an OpenAI account, and then you need to get a token. So if you register for an OpenAI account, you need an email ID, you need a phone number because they don't want you to use multiple accounts. And after you do that, this is the screen that you would reach. So you would, you would have the account, you could have logged in. After you have logged in, you would reach a place like this, where I'm going to show you how you can get your API key. When you go to the account tab, and inside the account tab, you can go to API keys. I can link this directly in the YouTube description. It's easier for you to get started. So go to API keys, and here you can create a new secret key. So when you click new secret key, it's going to actually create a key, and you need to copy this key and paste it somewhere else because you cannot view this key after it has been created. So I've created the key, I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to show you in this video API key, but that is also something that I'm going to delete after this video. Never ever show your API keys to anybody. All you have to do is add it as part of an environment variable. There are a lot of different ways to store an API key, like a JSON secret value. So use any of these values. If you're going to build an application, do not share your API key. Please do not. I've seen a lot of people coming to my GitHub repository and pasting OpenAI API key. Please never do that. Never share it anywhere at all. Now, having said that, at this point, you have an OpenAI account and you have an API key. Now let's jump into the Google Colab, where I'm going to build this code. So this code, first thing that you need is you need to install OpenAI application, OpenAI Python library. So it's quite simple. Pip install Q is for a silent, quiet installation, and then OpenAI. Once you have installed, then you can import the OpenAI library. So this is for the first method. So like I said, there are two different methods to access OpenAI ChatGPT. I'm going to quickly show you that. Let me show here. So first method is this method. So if you see this code, you can use OpenAI library and you can use the API key, and then you can use OpenAI chat completion, this one, OpenAI chat completion, and then chat with OpenAI ChatGPT. So to use ChatGPT, the first method, you use ChatGPT in Python. The first method is to use OpenAI library and use OpenAI chat completion. The second method is to actually use this endpoint and make a post request. So I'm going to start with the first method, and then we'll jump into the second method. What is the first method? The first method, like I said, you need to import OpenAI library. So import OpenAI library. After you import OpenAI library, it is very important sometimes to set a context to this ChatGPT API. So you need to tell the chatbot here that what is this chatbot supposed to do. So for example, you can say you are a kind, helpful assistant. So you can say this. You are a kind, helpful assistant. So this is the context that you are setting with the ChatGPT API, so that the API knows how to prevent, how to behave, how not to do certain things. For example, you don't want the API to be using, let's say, foul words or something when you are going to deploy this kind of system with children. So there are certain nuances that you need to keep in mind. So that is where you set this context about what this chatbot is ideally supposed to do. Like what is the behavior or what this chatbot represents and what is the duty of the chatbot. And I'm going to show you a different aspect as well. But for now, let's stick to you are a kind, helpful assistant. That's done. The next thing is it's a JSON. In the JSON, you can see role is a system, and the content is what the setup that you did. And the next line, if you want to send a message, now you have got two different roles. One is the system role. The second one is the user role. So system in this case is ChatGPT, and user in this case is like whoever is going to chat with. Like if you're going to deploy this in public, then whoever chats with the ChatGPT API is the user. So at this point, we have set up the message. Again, you don't have to take notes while you are watching the video. The entire Google Colab notebook, I'll link it in the GitHub repository, so you can directly copy the code from there and paste it in your own VS Code, Visual Studio Code, or Google Colab, wherever you run. So the next thing is, now at this point we have successfully set up the context. The next thing we want to do is we want to create an infinite loop so that we can have a chat mechanism. So create an infinite loop with while true and then get the user message from input. This is a naive way. I'll have a different video probably like tomorrow or day after tomorrow, where we will build a Gradio application to have a chat bot in itself. But for now, this is a very simple chat mechanism where you collect the user input, it prints out a response, then you collect user input. So it's going to be very simple. Now I'm going to quickly show you how it looks so that it's easier for you to comprehend when I explain the code. So I'm the user. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask, who is the most famous chess player? Okay, so you can see it says Garry Kasparov of Russia is widely considered to be one of the most famous chess player in history. He was ranked number 1, blah blah blah. So now one of the things that when you build a chatbot, you would have seen a lot of my tutorials, is that the context or the memory is the problem. A lot of times chatbots do not know what you are talking about, because you sent a message, it's going to go look for the information or answer, and then it's going to come back and give the answer, but it doesn't link. So to show you that ChatGPT in this particular case has context, I'm going to say, first I asked who is the most famous chess player. It says Garry Kasparov, blah blah blah. Now by definition, if I use a pronoun, human beings would know that that pronoun is referring to Garry Kasparov. So I'm going to say, has he lost any match before? So I'm just trying to ask, has Garry Kasparov lost any match before? So I'm going to send this message and it says, yes, Garry Kasparov has lost matches before. So it says, even though he's considered one of the greatest chess players of all time, he is not unbeatable. So now the point is, one, you can ask question. Second, it can also hold memory. So it can have like two things. That's what you can see. Like I can even see, how does he compare with Magnus Carlsen? Am I spelling correctly? Yeah. So it's going to make a call and then it has given me a huge response. But the point here is that this works absolutely fine, and I'm going to show you the code now. So what is the code? Like I said, we are going to create an infinite loop. That's why it is continuously running. The message is, we are getting the message from the user using a simple Python function. Like probably the day you started learning Python, you would have learned input as a function, but that's what we are using. And if the message is present, we are going to append this message with the existing message. And what is the existing messages that we have got? We have got a message that says the role, system, content, and you are a kind, helpful person. So now why does it have a context? It's because we keep on appending the messages as well. And then the next thing is, now if you know your messages, that's why this does not come inside your infinite loop. It stays outside because you don't want to override your message. So that's again another information. So now how do you send a message? It's a simple like a dictionary, like a JSON. You have role, who is a user, what is the content? Content is the message that you got from the user. Now you're going to invoke OpenAI.chat completion, and that is the chat object. And you can say create, and what is the model that you're going to use? In this case, GPT 3.5 Turbo. You don't have to necessarily stick to only this model. You can also use, there is a latest version of Turbo that we discussed yesterday in the video, the 0351, if I remember correctly. You can use that as well if you want. Right now we're going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo. That is what is powering the actual ChatGPT interface. If you go to chat.openai.com, send the messages and again get the response from chat.choices, the first object, get the message content, and then reply. When you reply, then you can say this is an assistant responding, like this is, and what is the assistant name? In this case is ChatGPT, and what is the response? So that message also gets appended to the messages list. So this way you keep the context as well. So this is the entire, if you see, this is the entire code. Like it's not even like 5 lines of Python code, probably like 10 lines of Python code. You have successfully built a ChatGPT clone or ChatGPT, actual ChatGPT chatbot using Python, using OpenAI package. It's quite interesting. You can chat, like I can ask any questions, and we can do all these things with the first method. So the first method, we used OpenAI package, Python package, to create a chat interface, or kind of a chat interface within less than 10 lines of Python code. Cool. Now, as I told you, we have already added the key as a variable here, but I would strongly encourage you to add it as an environment variable, not like a variable that is visible. Now let's get into the second method. Now, what is the second method? Now you can ask me first, why do you need the second method? The first method doesn't give you a lot of flexibility in how you want to do, but the second method is an API endpoint, which means you have got a Node.js application, you have got a JavaScript application, you have got a, let's say, Laravel application, a PHP application. You can use this endpoint anywhere that you want. You're not restricted by a Python library. You can literally use this endpoint anywhere you want, and that is the advantage of having a HTTP endpoint. So that's one reason why you want to use. The second reason is you can do streaming data. What does it mean? If you know ChatGPT, when you type something, ChatGPT gives you a very nice animation when the response comes. That is called streaming. So you can stream with the API endpoint. Second. The third thing, at least I feel the most important, is at least at this point, it's very easy and straightforward for you to update or change parameters of ChatGPT API using the API endpoint than using the Python library. So for these three reasons, I would, if you're going to build a production level application, I would strongly encourage you to use the API endpoint. So now what is the API endpoint? The API endpoint is simple. It's api.openai.com/v1/chat completions. So this API endpoint, when you are going to send the payload, okay, if you're not very familiar with APIs, API is like a system that helps you talk to another system. It's like a gate. Now, when you're going to talk to this API, you need to send a payload, and the API is going to respond back with a response. So a payload goes and the response comes back, response. Now, when you send the payload, there are certain things that you need to send, not mandatory, but certain things. First, what is the model and what is the message? Like you can see that I've asked the same question, who is the most successful chess player? So if you're going to build a chat interface, now this is an F string. Ideally, you can put like a Python object there that will use that. So you have got the role, you have got user, you have got content. And this is the question that a lot of people have been asking, like, how do you change the temperature? How do you change, top P? So these are certain important things, because sometimes you want ChatGPT to be very creative. Let's say you're building an application where it has to write creative exercise. There you might have to keep your temperature very high, where sometimes you want the hallucination to be very less. So you are going to do the trade-off with temperature. I heard that Microsoft Bing recently also lets user control the temperature. So it's a good thing if you can do it, and it's always a good thing for you to have this control when you are building a production level application. Next is all the simple things. The most important thing is, if you want streaming data, you need to enable stream true. But right now I don't want streaming because I'm not processing streaming data per se. But when we build a Gradio chatbot, we'll do streaming. So at this point we have streaming false, and then this is our payload. So this is the payload that we are going to go send it to the ChatGPT API endpoint. That is a completions endpoint. And what is the header? So somebody has to authenticate it, is actually us. So the header says like it's an application JSON type, the content type, and the bearer token. The token is exactly the same token that we were using before. So you can literally use the same token. And this is an F string. So I'm calling the same Python object, which I defined above. So the next thing is I'm going to make a post request. In HTTP request, popular ones, get and post. So we're going to make a post request with the API endpoint. What is the header for authentication, and the payload as a JSON, and stream is equal to false because we don't want it to be stream. Get the response back, and once you get the response back, this is what you get. To make it easier for all of us to read, I have put it inside a JSON viewer because it's a JSON object. So you can see first it says what is the chat ID. That is going to be very helpful. What is the object that we use? Chat completion. When is it created? Unix timestamp. What is the model that has been used? Here we are not using 0351, we are using 0301, which is the default ChatGPT model. What number of prompt tokens? This is quite important if you're going to calculate cost. For example, you could be building an application where you need to charge the user. So prompt token and prompt completion token. So total how much tokens that we have got? So total 95 tokens. Prompt had 16 tokens. When we got completion, 79 tokens, total 95 tokens. And what is the message that we sent? The message of the assistant. What the assistant replied back, it says, the most successful chess player in history is widely considered to be Gary Kasparov, blah, 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 and all the information that you have got. Now, this is the second method that in which you can access ChatGPT API using Python. So I'm going to go ask another question here. So I'm going to say, what is the first computer in the world? And send the message. I'm going to get the JSON object. Once I get the JSON object, the response object. The response object, I'm going to say response.content. I'm going to copy this JSON and go to the JSON viewer. Paste it here. See it here. So you've got the JSON. In the first JSON, you have got the ID, chat completion, the time, the model, the usage, how many tokens we sent, how many tokens we received, total number of tokens, and the message. The assistant says the first computer in the world was an electronic numerical integrator and computer called ENIAC, created in 1945 at the University of Pennsylvania. Nice. So overall, if you see in this video, we learned first how to create an OpenAI token, which is quite important for this. Then we learned the first method to use ChatGPT API in Python using OpenAI library. The second method, we learned how to use OpenAI API ChatGPT endpoint, which is the completions endpoint, to use ChatGPT in Python. So now the second method could be applicable for any programming language, like I said, anywhere where you can make an HTTP request like PHP, JavaScript, any framework, Laravel, Node.js, anywhere you could use it. So overall, we have learned how to build ChatGPT or how to use ChatGPT API inside Python using these two methods. In the next video, probably I'll try to build actually like a chat interface where you can chat and communicate. I think that's going to be fun. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. The code will be linked. I'll upload the Colab in the GitHub repository and link the GitHub repo in the YouTube description. So it's easy for you to get started with. Make sure that you are not burning your cost by sharing your OpenAI API with somebody. So make sure that that API key secret is secret. And if you have any other question, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I hope this was a helpful video in learning how to build a chatbot using ChatGPT API in Python. So if your friends want to use ChatGPT API in Python, please share this video with them. I'll see you in another video. Happy prompting. Peace.